Welcome, guys. It's Talking Kaizer Chiefs. It's Soccerbeat. It's Peter the Toy with my two good friends, the Talking Kaizer Chiefs guys, Tsepo Masilela and Coach Farouk Khan. Guys, welcome. Cup final. There are a couple of questions I want to ask you. First one is, we'll go through the questions first. The first one, is this the response you expected after a cup final victory, after all the euphoria? If you look at the game, it's very clear. So many errors from Chiefs all over the place. Where are the positives from this game that Chiefs look to build, they can build from the last game? And then lastly, Polokwane is the next game. They're seventh on the league. That's definitely going to be a top 8 cup final. So let's go to the first one. And we'll start with you, Coach. Is this the response you expected after a cup final?
Well, not really. I think I expected more from the team. They had just a fantastic cup victory, and you expected that momentum and that confidence to be brought into the game. But to be fair, their defense wasn't, a defense that you can say is a defense that have been playing together for a long time. Young Fabian McCarthy, not Fabian McCarthy, McCarthy's son Aiden came in on the left-hand
Yeah.
side. It was a bit of a baptism of fire. But in saying that, obviously, 3 points was what Chiefs needed. I mean, you want to be in the top 8 after such a momentous victory. And it's just going to not be that easy. I mean, Polokwane haven't done well today, Peter, but Polokwane next week could be a totally different kettle of fish.
Right. So, Tsepo, I mean, this is obviously not the response the Chiefs fans or Chiefs wanted. They wanted to build from the derby. I mean, you have the cup final win. But Sekhukhune aren't a bad side. But if you look at this game, it looks like Chiefs are like Sekhukhune. There's no real difference between those two teams. Chiefs doesn't look like a bigger team than Sekhukhune, but yet Sekhukhune are fourth on the table. And if I look at the game, and I'm sure the viewers out there who watch the game as well, so many errors made by both sides all over the pitch. That's why the ball goes from one team to the other team. So many turnovers. I mean, this is not the standard of football that I think we should be delivering in South Africa. We should be keeping the ball more. There should be more passes made in the game. So many errors. You played in teams that won league championships. Why is there so many errors going on?
Yeah, Peter, going back, to today's game, if you take away the cup run of the Nedbank Cup of Kaizer Chiefs, this is the Chiefs we've been watching the whole season. So I'm not really surprised. It's not a team that wins 3 games on the trot or in succession, 4 games. It's an inconsistent team that, okay, they won the Nedbank Cup, but a good cup run should not really like confuse you or make you think you've got a solid squad or a good team to compete, the whole season. So when I watched the Kaizer Chiefs today, I was hoping for a win, but on the other side, I did expect, maybe a cup hangover or another disappointing result because they haven't been a consistent Kaizer Chiefs team. So to say we're surprised by the performance or by the results per se, I would be lying to say I'm surprised by this results. If you look at the position they had and you just analyze their whole season. So for me, I'm not surprised, Peter. And coming to your point of they don't control the game, so we when we're saying they did it on transition, we're not saying they sit back and want to hit teams and counter, but their strength is when they win the ball, they want to play it forward quickly. Uh, and you have to set up, in that your setup and the players you have in the field must complement your strategy or your game plan. But they're not a team that's very consistent and dominant, Peter, to be honest. So I'm not surprised at all.
Farouk, I want to take on from what Tsepo's just said. Very good point. What Tsepo just said is that obviously Chiefs Nabi style, which I think you can do when you're coaching in Tanzania and these places, and you've got the biggest team. And I can tell you now, in those leagues, the top 3 teams are way better than everybody else. So you can win the ball and just bomb forward straight away, first pass looking forward, because when you lose the ball, you're going to get it back quite easily. But when you lose the ball in South African football, you're not going to get the ball back that easily. Sundowns can, Pirates can, but this Kaizer Chiefs team can't. So my thought, shouldn't Chiefs actually try and build rather than each time going, when it's on, obviously you got to go if you see something on and it's a quick ball up front and you can support it, yes. But shouldn't this kind of Chiefs team, if you look at Sekhukhune, they also play direct, but they build from the back. You've got Minare who can slow it down, look for passes. They change the pace. With Chiefs, it's a one-trick pony. Win the ball, bang, forward. Do you not think that Chiefs should be looking for players who can hold the ball at the back, be a little bit more patient? Because every time they lose the ball, a team looks like they can score against them. They're under pressure all the time, even when they win the ball.
Well, Peter, there's a statistic which says Kaizer Chiefs have the most box entries, which is true. But box entries on its own, in the absence of good service, is useless. I mean, Lipo, on a number of occasions, as well as Solomon, got into good wide positions, but the final pass is always poor, to say the least. So that technical deficiency doesn't suit the fact that they get into the box, but they can't convert chances. And as Tsepo said, the transition is too quick. The forward pass is made too early at times. It hasn't worked for the entire season. Surely, Chiefs need to go back to what made the team such a household name and gave them that title of, or should I say, that tag of the defending glamour boys, because they played a glamorous football. Now, I'm sure after taking stock of it and after analyzing it, if Coach Nabi is there, he's got to change that, because we said we didn't see much of Nobo, we didn't see much of Duba, and in their defense, when you attack as quickly as Kaizer Chiefs do when they have the ball, and you don't get the ball to be played through the midfield, you get it wide, because every attack of theirs is wide, which I assume is something they work on. That's why it looks so effective. But unfortunately, the end product is not there. So you should go back and say, look, when I restructure for the season, if I want to play out of the back, then I need to ensure that I get players that can play out of the back. I feel Peterson did very well today. He made some very, very good saves. On the flip side, Sekhukhune had a keeper that was beatable. On a number of occasions, he looked very suspect. He came to punch when he shouldn't. He came off his line, didn't clear the ball, and Kaizer Chiefs didn't take advantage of that. And I mean, if you look at the defense of Sekhukhune, they're not bad, but they're growing in age, so they're a bit slow. And then in that case, you need to expose them at times. I think the coach has done extremely well. But again, that was a defense that was ready for the taking. But if you look at the game entirely, both teams were guilty of giving away possession very cheaply. I mean, the turnover was out of this world. So I think on the basis of what we've seen, Peter, and coming back to your question, I agree totally with you that they need to look at a different game model next season.
Correct. I think so. But I don't even know if Navi's got that different game model in him. Before I go over to the next question, Chiefs fans out there, all football fans, Soccerbeat fans out there, please click on that subscribe button. We want to hit that 50,000. A lot of you watching right now haven't subscribed. Please, guys, it's a show of appreciation. We really need that 50,000 subscribers. You mentioned the back four of Sekhukhune, Farouk. Tsepo, you played with Cardoza. I mean, if I look at the back, the 8 defenders, for me, he was the best defender on the park. His experience, he was never, he may be getting on in years. He was never caught out of possession. His distribution was decent. He probably won almost, if not every single battle that came his way. And if you look at the defense that Chiefs have got, why did they get rid of a player like Cardoza? He could still be playing in that team. It's a strange decision. What do you think on Cardoza in particular?
Kira, with that one, it is always a tough one. Even when you look at Man U, you see the Rashfords going to Villa, they're doing well. You see Antonio. Sometimes you ask yourself, why is not Anthony doing well at Man U, but he's doing well at Real Betis? It happens in football. But I played with him. He's a solid defender. He knows how to read the game. Very comfortable on the ball. His anticipation is key. He's very spot on. And and yeah, I mean, I don't know what were were the reasons for letting Cardoso go. Maybe he was part of the revamp or rebuilding when we have to get rid of the guys, old guys, and bring in new guys, or maybe the coach that was there decided he doesn't want Cardoso anymore. There's a lot of reasons behind that we don't know. Sitting at home, but yeah. he's also a good human being, Peter. He's a very disciplined guy, always at training, and he gives his best. And I don't know why he's not there. But when sorry man, just to add, with this Kaizer Chiefs team, Peter, if you want to have a team that's gonna compete or challenge, you need to have that six, 5, 6 guys that these are your trusted, they're core of the team. Meaning, if you have those 6 guys, starting from your keeper, Chip started with the boy from Galaxy and Charmy. They went Bavuma, Peterson. It shows you that going to next season, they have to have those 6, 7 guys in their lineup that are consistent. Because you always see changes with this Kaizer Chiefs team. You don't know, we don't even know who's gonna play the the next game. Because today we see Blom, three games we don't see Blom, but you need your spy, the core of the team. If you see your Sundowns, you have your Williams, you have Mokwena, you have your Ribery, you have your Allende. Those guys carry the other guys that are coming in. The guys that are same at Pirate, you have your Chaine, your Makaula, CBC, Mfuke, always there that can help the other guys coming in and carry them.
Correct. And you look at the English Premier League, Liverpool, they're trusted 7 players. The trusted 7 players.
They are trusted 7,
Whereas at Man United, you don't know they're trusted 7 players.
Okay, just touching on Tsepo's point, I think it's a very valid point that you have a very strong spine. But for me personally, even when you have those players, there has to be a level of synergy and chemistry. Because you look at the players, you could buy phenomenal players, but if they don't have that understanding, that ability to be able to work for each other, to be able to complement each other, to be able to ensure that they drive the team forward, and that is lacking at the moment because it seems like you've got a lot of players with qualities, but those qualities don't overlap. Those qualities don't complement each other. And I think the best teams we've seen, let me give you an example that I would like to always mention. You look at Busquets, you look at Xavi, Iniesta. They made Messi the most phenomenal attacker in the world at the time. And you could see the qualities they had that emanated from La Masia was then taken forward. And I think this is lacking in Kaizer Chiefs because, again, we hear they're going to sign a particular player or players. Let them make sure this time around that those players are able to complement the existing players that they have in their team.
Yeah. So I think the Kaizer Chiefs fans out there, Farouk and Tsepo made 2 outstanding points. Tsepo's first point, reiterate, what Chiefs lack right now, they don't have the 7 core players that top teams need to be able to be a team that can be reckoned with, a challenging team. And then not only do you have those top 7 players you can rely on, the reason why you can rely on them is because they have a synergy, as Farouk says, about them. And that means that when the 5 other players, or sorry, the 4 other players that come in to make it the 11, or the other players who come off the bench and play, they fit in like a glove because the team's already got that synergy there and they've already got that core thinking amongst the 7 players. So Nabi and Kaizer Chiefs is very clear. Ex-legend who's won league titles at your club, Farouk Khan, top coach who's coached your club when you won league titles. That's the answer. You got to find 7 players, and that means new signings, I think. But the coach has got to understand, I'm pretty certain you mean that really, what is that game plan? And that's the worry we can talk about next time. I think the problem is that game plan they've got right now is not the game plan for South African football or for Kaizer Chiefs. It's just bombing forward at every moment in time. Last question before we go. Polokwane next week. Polokwane is 7th on the table, Chiefs 9, Chipper just above them. There's no option but to get 3 points and hope Chipper and Polokwane. Chipper will Polokwane. If you beat them, you get the 3 points. The Chipper falter along the way. I mean, the question is, yes, they can do it, but how confident of you that Chiefs can get into the top 8 yet, Tsepo?
Peter, it's a tough one. They had to treat it like the cup final they played against the Orlando Pirates. That's the only way they're gonna get through. They have a chance of winning the game. But I'm confident, Peter. Today they didn't get the results they wanted, the 3 points, and I'm sure going into that game, everyone is aware. When you're aware and the pressure now, it's a pressure game. It's a win or if you don't win, you don't make it to the top 8. Again, it also depends on the other teams, but I think that pressure moment it will lift them to get the results. The 3 points.
So Farouk, same question, but with a different angle to you. The I agree with Tsepo, and I'm sure so do you and all the fans out there, that they've got to treat it like a cup final because it's a top 8 cup final. But the difference being, when they beat Sundowns in the semi-final and when they beat Pirates in the final, they were playing against two teams that came at them. And they could almost kind of counter because they didn't have the ball that much. Polokwane is going to be a lot like Sekhukhune, and they've struggled in these kind of games. So yes, it's a cup final, top 8 cup final, and they've come to the party in cup finals, but this is a different game. How would you handle it?
I have the advantage of having better quality. I have players that are coming back if I'm Nabi, the players that have come from suspension and injury. It will be a totally different team, I presume. You'll have the likes of some more regular players that we see Kaizer Chiefs use the season coming out of suspension, etc., and injuries as well. They're going to put up a very strong team. Their medical staff is going to work overtime this week because they also understand the importance of winning this particular game and going into the top 8. It would be a disaster, even though Kaizer Chiefs have won the cup, the Nedbank Cup, for them in 2 seasons consecutively, not to finish in the top 8 would be a huge mark against the reputation of this institution, Peter. So they got everything to play for. I'm a little bit encouraged by the fact that there will be players coming back, but I don't want to underestimate Polokwane at all. They must treat this like a cup final, and they must ensure that they are a little bit more patient because with a game of 90 minutes, you don't always have to score in the first few minutes. And the way Chiefs have been playing is they throw caution to the wind from the get-go. They play in one tempo, one gear, constantly. And, if a team plans well, sits back with a low block and look to catch them on the counter, they will, because you're constantly having Solomon's overlapping. You have a lot of players, the Lepo, and they could kill Chiefs on those wide areas which they leave unmanned. So tactically, I think Chiefs should keep the ball better, shift the ball around, and they have the quality, Peter. They shouldn't be, we, all three of us shouldn't be talking about whether Chiefs should or should not win. It should be a given. And that is the other thing that I think the coaching staff and management have to do next season. We can't keep people guessing. It must be a team that's consistent. They must hit the ground running, and it must be a season that is going to catapult Chiefs into the next decade.
Soccerbeat,